The Rams and dismiss Jared Goff to qualify for the playoffs. The Chargers have ended our long national nightmare that is the Kansas City Chiefs. And the LA Times had to go to the government to ask about Mick Cronin's job status. Good morning. I'm James. And this is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. And we've got a lot to discuss on December 15th, 2025. Welcome back to the home office. Do you like being in the know about LA sports? Well, if you do, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop an update. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. By all means, comment. Now, before we go through the news notes, we have an expanded look at the scoreboard because of football season. It was a clean sweep for the Angelenos, starting with Rams 41, Detroit 34. The Rams become the first team to qualify for the playoffs and keep hold on the top seed in the NFC. Now, we knew the Lions would give them a game. We also knew that Jared Goff looks at Sean McVay the same way Loki looks at Thor. How can I stab this guy in the back? But like we were discussing yesterday, at some point the Rams' defensive front will assert itself. The Lions are 4-0 when Goff doesn't get sacked. Detroit built a 24-17 halftime lead because Goff did not get planted. Maybe that was because the defensive front was focused on stopping the run. They did hold Detroit Sunday to just 70 rushing yards. But to me, the key in an overwhelming 17-0 third quarter for the Rams wasn't simply the scoring. Kobe Turner snuffed a Detroit drive by sacking Goff. The Rams get the ball back. 2 plays later, Blake Corum scores a touchdown, and all of a sudden, the Rams have a 2-score lead, and the Lions are playing catch-up the rest of the way. Once again, the Rams hummed along on offense. We knew that was going to happen. Matthew Stafford passed for 368 yards, 2 touchdowns, both going to Colby Parkinson. Puka Nacua caught 9 passes for 181 yards. The team rushed for 159 yards. Now, not that everything was perfect. Devontae Adams injured his hamstring again, making his status for Thursday night's tilt up in Seattle an ish. But a lot of good news happening at SoFi yesterday. Also, the Chargers 16, Kansas City 13. The Chargers edge that much closer to the playoffs with their 10th win, which should be enough. NFL.com gives them a 90% chance to qualify. And by the way, they pretty much won according to plan, which is begging the defense to hold up at all costs. Don't kid yourself. There is no plan B for the Chargers. The last 2 games, the Bolts could only muster 1 touchdown in each. In other words, the defense has to be amazeballs in order for them to have a chance. Meanwhile, the Chiefs were eliminated for the playoffs, not just for this year, but perhaps next year as well. Why? Well, NASA satellites picked up a mushroom cloud from Patrick Mahomes' knee. That was an explosion from his anterior cruciate ligament. And I feel bad because I said yesterday that with the deterioration of the Chiefs' offensive line, Mahomes was vulnerable for the first time in his career. I sure as hell wasn't trying to forecast this. Now, it could take anywhere from 6 months to a year to recover from something like that. And the impact is widespread. No more Taylor Swift thirst trap clips. No more Mahomes yucking it up with Andy Reid in commercials. No more tomahawk chop. And for damn sure, if Mahomes ain't playing, no chance at going to a Super Bowl next year either. Now, Justin Herbert threw for 210 yards with a touchdown pass to Keandre Lambert-Smith. Tuli Tuipulotu and Adafe Owen each sacked Mahomes twice. The Bolts defense held Kansas City to 239 yards. So, yeah, it's about the defense. But I want to make one more point. not just about both of those teams, but long-term about the AFC West. Now, I haven't seen enough of Denver, but there is a common theme for the rest of the division. The Bolts, Kansas City, definitely Las Vegas. None of them have an offensive line. None of them. Two teams that played Sunday from the division, well, the Raiders didn't have their first-string quarterback because he kept getting hit. Mahomes is done for the year. Justin Herbert is like he's a walking dead out there, guys. And that's because despite the fact that you may think you have a franchise quarterback, you have to protect him. Now, the Raiders don't have a franchise quarterback. They're probably drafting one. So, for those three teams, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Chiefs, it goes like this. The first team to sanity wins. The first team to protect their quarterback and have a line that could also establish the run wins. And by the way, for many years, KC had the best O-line in that division, so they know the assignment. With any luck, so does the Charger brass. Also, Sunday, the Lakers edged Phoenix 116-114. The Lakers squandered a 20-point lead, but managed to pull out the win. Luka Doncic scored 29 points. LeBron James added 26. And DeAndre Ayton, of all people, 20 points. Meanwhile, Dylan Brooks continued his fake thug act by getting thrown out of the game. Didn't work in Memphis. Didn't work in Houston. Damn sure not working for Phoenix. It's just so tiresome. And USC basketball knocked out Washington State 68-61. Jacob Kofi scored 21. The Trojans are 10-1. Meanwhile, today, Memphis is at the Clippers at 7:30, and the Kings are at Dallas at 5. So with that out of the way, what do you say we get to the news? Timing is everything in this world, so we've been told. And if that's the case, the UCLA athletic department's timing is somewhere between running over a spike strip that ice set out on the 405 and getting a herpes diagnosis on your wedding day. These guys don't have any timing mechanism whatsoever. Bad timing. Poop-tacular timing. Minutes after the Bruins got humbled by Gonzaga on Saturday, the athletic program admitted to the LA Times that yes, basketball coach Mick Cronin had been extended for 5 more years. Extended in May. What? Now, to be clear, I'm not a fire Cronin guy. I mean, he behaves in some ways that make him a prime candidate for therapy, but I'm not saying you fire him. He has 5 winning seasons in 6 years, a Final Four appearance, but this deal puts him in the top 20 in the nation for college basketball coaches at $4.5 million a year. All for one Final Four appearance? Jim Herrick won a natty and he was gone less than 2 years later. So I'm not saying, again, I don't want to say fire Cronin. I'm just asking, is this a good idea? And by the way, why did this have to be confirmed after the Bruins' 3rd loss? You know why? It took a Freedom of Information Act to find out. Any other sports program, they sign a player, they sign a coach. Out goes the press release. Not at UCLA, not with Martin Jarmond. The Times had to ask the government. You had to knock on the door and ask for government to answer. It's not Watergate, it's college basketball. Hi, I'm Ben Bolch of the LA Times. I'm filing a Freedom of Information Act request. Yes, I'm trying to find out 2 things. Is Trump in the Epstein files? And is Mick Cronin still going to be the UCLA basketball? What are we talking about? Oh, by the way, could you get back to me soon? It's almost tip-off for the Gonzaga game. UCLA basketball. can't wait to tell us every single moment that they can over at UCLA that they're a historic basketball powerhouse that brought the world John Wooden, that has 11 national titles and 7 players in the Basketball Hall of Fame, more than any other college out there. But the coach doesn't even get a tweet when he signs a contract in May? Now, officials claim they didn't announce it due to the financial climate within the university, and that excuse does not hold any water whatsoever. None. Jarmond was even asked by the Times in July about Cronin. Jarmond did not say a deal was already in place. No. This has nothing to do with financial climate. It's because they know that if fans are already upset about the direction of the football program, they'd be apoplectic if something that they didn't like about the basketball program was about to go down. And they didn't know how well it would be received. So Jarmond lied. The deal had been signed and he lied. And instead, we find out after the Bruins lose in a nationally televised game against a stronger program. It serves Martin Jarmond right. I may not be a fire Mick Cronin guy, but I know damn well who they should be firing. Lying to the public and the press is not exactly the way to run an athletic department there, dude. As a side note for UCLA, it was revealed Sunday that the football program would not retain interim offensive coordinator Jerry Neuheisel. Knowing Jarmond, he probably fought the release of that data all the way up to the Supreme Court. Lots of UCLA news to discuss, none of it good. Feel free to let me know what you think. Once again, the internet remains defeated. Seriously, the cliche is how the internet is undefeated, and yet every time I look at Dodger rumors on the internet gets its ass kicked. The blogger Roddy, the social media trolls, they were all so desperate to will a Tarek Skubal trade into existence. It was like all these bloggers and scribes got together in a pitch meeting to make it happen. Okay, Dodgers got to give up something for Skubal. Let's shoot it around the room. Let's create something. Jimbo, what do you got for me? Screw it. Let's say they send him Tyler Glass now. Bingo! Stop drilling, you hit oil. Let's get that rumor out. One problem with the scenario. Dodger president Andrew Friedman called Glasnow and said he is not getting traded. Whoopsie. Conversely, somebody who can be traded today, or starting today, is Chris Paul. Unlike PJ Tucker, who the Clippers let languish for more than a year for no discernible reason, it would behoove the Clippers to trade Paul. They're wasting a roster spot with him. Trading him would also potentially free up cap space. And by the way, the Clippers only have 11 players on guaranteed contracts right now. It's an old team and it damn sure ain't deep. I'm not saying you're going to get a stud in exchange for Paul, but at least you get the chance to open up a roster spot for someone. USC football has added its first player from the transfer portal in defensive back Carrington Pierce, formerly of Oklahoma State. He bolted from the Cowboys after the coach got fired in October, so he has no stats to speak of. The Trojans, they will have at least one roster spot needed to fill with a defensive back. They lost a defensive back to the portal, and another is out of eligibility. One of the purposes for this program is to call out extremely irresponsible journalism. We clown the print journalists all the time. We can say whatever we want about that, but at least that there are proofreaders to try to make sure that the information you get from the Times, from the Daily News, is somewhat accurate. But online, with your work not getting triple checked, it's a bottomless well of sewage. And And I bring that up because 247sports.com's Connor Morissette first reported USC's second leading scorer, Rodney Rice, could miss the rest of the season with a shoulder injury. Only in the secondary headline, what we in the industry would used to call a summary head or a sum head, claimed that Rice will miss the rest of the season. That's kind of a difference, wouldn't you say? Now, to be clear, USC coach Eric Musselman said, quote, there's a possibility, unquote, that Rice is done. Of course, that's assuming Morissette got the quote right in the first place. There's no way of knowing that. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. If you're a Rams or Chargers fan, talk to me about the state of your team heading toward the postseason. And if you believe that this actually clinches the Chargers' path. For that matter, are you a UCLA fan? Are you cool with Cronin's extension? Or do you take issue with it? And if you enjoyed this update, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day. Thank you for watching. I'm James, and we'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corta El Queso production. Take care.